Hello and welcome back to another episode of Step by Step. In a series of Final Fantasy jobs, we've come to my third character, I guess you would say, as the thief. And now there was a theme, like I was putting the, fire crystal, water crystal, and like I was gonna do the earth crystal in this one, and I was like, I'm not exactly sure. And as you could see at the end, I didn't really do that, which isn't a big deal. Maybe I'll do a basement kind of thing. I wanted to do like a cabin in the woods kind of thing, but I don't know. We'll have to see if I do like a second map for it, which I do want to do. It's just I don't know if I should continue the trend with adding the crystals to the maps, like indicating that they have to be a certain like type of crystal, like, and that also has to be part of the map. But maybe at least for the four, the main four that you play with, and then maybe the other jobs I'll just do just a map for. But enough rambling, let's get into it. Alright, so we're gonna start off with a 20-foot or 25 by 25 grid. I had some trouble with the walls, because usually I use the paint tool to kind of mark down where my buildings are. This time I went with starting with walls, and I had a bit of trouble because I was like, this doesn't look right. Don't really like that. And I constantly like changed between this, that, and another thing. So I went back to my original design, which is to start with the paint tool, and you could start with an outline and then go with the walls. You could see me deleting the walls here. By the way, the video might not always be completely synced to what I do. Just know that like I try my best to sync it, but not all the time does it work properly, because I use DaVinci Resolve to edit the videos and stuff, and I also speed up the video because it takes me 30, 45 an hour to do these maps. So it's kind of difficult to get the right ratio of how much speed versus if it's just going to be a blurry video. That's very annoying to watch because it's very fast and I'm not keeping up with, myself. So anyway, as you can see, I added some doors. I added like a big, like huge door at the front, which I'm not a big fan of, because that's a 5 feet by 5 feet, like that's a 10-foot door essentially. But it kind of works, and I'm like, they're just too big, and I wanted to, I don't know, resize it, and it just didn't work. So I went with like a different door, one without like the hinges on the sides, and I kind of resized it to the 1 square by 1 square, and then you also have to color it too, because it can't be. Players will get confused if it's like the same color as the background, so they won't even know a door is there. Well, unless you use Roll20, because they have like an actual like door icon for their lighting, and you can put like, hey, here's a door, you can open a door here, or if it's locked, or even a hidden door, you can put a hidden door. In hindsight, that's what I kind of wanted to do with this build, is to do like a cabin in the woods and it be very unassuming, but everything in the house is like completely trapped. The basement is basically where like he lives and and like protects the earth crystal. Because again, I was gonna go with the earth crystal because again, you go underground. And also like, I don't know, thieves, poison, you know, it's very green themed. And you could tell that I went with the green theme. Right now we're just decorating the fake bedroom, if you will, or the just regular bedroom. It's not really hard. Like the hardest part for like decorating is really finding what to put in the room and where to put it. To where it would make sense. Like it would make sense that the chest is in the corner. It makes sense that the bed is against the wall. It makes sense that, you know, the crates are stacked so they don't take up too much room in the room. Just be a little more realistic with it. Here I'm putting some random things on top of the desk. You know, water canteen. We went with a backpack, couple daggers. And I think we went with food, because again, we're like, oh, it's all trapped, so why not leave out some poisoned food, you know? I thought that would be cool, because they'd be like, oh, free ration, free canteen full of water, you know, free daggers, free backpack. Your players will always, I say a lot, will always loot when they can. They'll loot anything, even if it is poison and they discover it's poison, they'll loot it. They'll take it because they can then poison someone else with it. Don't be afraid to be okay with just letting your players be loot goblins, even if it's a detriment to them. Here we're adding a fireplace, and then we're adding some barrels. I wanted to add a well to the outside to make it a little more like homey, make it more like almost like a ranch feel where you go outside and get the well water. But I also figured if it's a cabin in the woods and they don't want to be found, putting a well there does make a lot of sense, because I don't know about you, but digging out a well is a very tedious project that takes time. And I don't think one person would do it just to be, like, just to have water on hand. Here I went again and looked for the bookshelves. I definitely passed it. But again, the search function in Inkarnate is really good. Don't be me and just constantly look or think that you can find it. Just, you know, search it up. It's right there. It's not a big issue. Here I went ahead and like wanted to do like kind of like a picnic table, kind of dinner table area over by the food and the fireplace. And I had some difficulties with these stools, because I was like, oh, you know, they're only 2x2, and now I need a desk, but it's too long. So I have to shorten it and widen it as well. And I'm like, oh, it doesn't really look right. So maybe we need to color them all kind of like the same shade. And I kind of like that a little bit. I think we needed to add some windows. I think that's what I'm looking for right now, is some windows. And we added a couple, and they're pretty big in hindsight. They're pretty big windows, like 2x2. That's like a 10-foot window. But I also thought like it needed some color and some foliage, so I put like potted plants on there from, I believe it's the Elven set that they're originally from. The Elven set introduced just a bunch of, you know, Elven stuff. Makes sense. But it wasn't too bad. You do want to make sure that the glass is like slightly peeking out, otherwise they just see the wood and they're like, oh, well, okay, it's just, I mean, it's a piece of wood, so I'm guessing it's a window because you said it's a window. But if you have that small line of the gray that they see, they're like, oh, it gives a verisimilitude to the world a little bit, and also makes your maps look better as a player. Because again, there's you can put doors and windows, so you can give them the ability to open and shut the windows, or go through the windows, or look through the windows. Here I'm kind of debating on what to really put. I wanted to add some more like just random stuff, some random treasures from random adventures that he went on. Decided with a island of books that kind of juts out from the initial build. Here's went with a carpet, and add a fancy chair to it, to the corner there. Put it underneath the wall, because again, the wall kind of goes all the way up to the ceiling, and that kind of fixes that. So now here, I'm gonna change the hue for the carpets, and I'm like, oh, green, let's do green. Here I kind of played with the white theme, and I was like, let's just go back to green. Like, it's not that big a deal. It looks good green, might as well do green. And then I went ahead and duplicated that, and we're gonna put it in this room, which we're gonna make like kind of a training room. This is where he like trains with his daggers, other weapons and stuff like that. Here you can see all my assets, and you can see me downloading the symbol for the thief, which I believe is 2 daggers, like you see here. You can see a bunch of other assets that I've used in the past. Inkarnate is really good at like keeping those for a lengthy period of time. I think you have a limit, but as far as I know, I haven't reached that limit with the ones that you saw. Here you do. I don't have the transparent background. Obviously, I can go into like Photoshop or something like that and make it a transparent background, but the multiply blend mode on this gets rid of that white background. So that's what I used. And then you just duplicate that and put it on the other one. And then I was like, it needs something else. Let's maybe some armor stands. I was looking kind of in the like Eastern stuff, and then I was like, nah. It definitely needs like weapons and armor stands. So we went with some leather armor stands in the corner, and their pixels were kind of like not really there. So I had to, when an asset is very high in pixels and very detailed, when you minimize it, those pixels become mushed together, and to retain whatever image of the original image it is. So what ends up happening is the quality of the picture goes down. So at a certain point, there's this threshold of, is the quality there or is it pixelated? And I think the 5x5 makes it sort of, good. I do see some discoloration in the armor stands, but ultimately, I don't think the players will really notice that. We went with some archery targets or daggers. You could put daggers in them too. But we went with the archery targets. And then also like a cabinet for like poisons and stuff like that. And then we decided to do the outside. Now, here is where I was like playing around with like, the basement. We can put like a square of a basement down here and just use that. Like, that's where the crystal is. On this one map, there's a basement with a crystal, of earth in it. And I don't know, it felt like this is the reason I was like, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe it's not that big of a deal if I exclude the crystals in my maps, but I've already made them kind of a staple of both the Final Fantasy maps that I did. So I don't know, maybe there'll be a basement, which I'll have to do off camera because, you know, this is the whole point of the build is you guys get where they would essentially live or something like that. And you could argue that this is where that person or with that job title, a thief, would live. Here I'm dotting the map with trees and stumps. And don't be afraid to like cover up some of those stumps with the trees. It kind of makes them look more full, I would say. Don't forget to also get the back of your map, even though the players aren't going to see the back of your map. It is important to make sure it looks nice and looks good. Do keep in mind that those trees, sometimes their leaves get on top of your walls, and but that's okay. Here I'm spreading some leaves around. I was gonna do sticks, but I figured rocks are just as good, and we did little patches of them so that we didn't really like overwhelm this map with like rock pictures or rock photos and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, let's do a rock trail that goes all the way up to the door. And obviously those rocks didn't do it, so I went with some cobblestone, and I was specifically mossy cobblestone, and it kind of works all the way up there. In hindsight, it should have been a dirt road or a gravel road, because again, this is a cabin that's not supposed to be tracked, and if there's a cobblestone road that goes straight to it, then, you know, obviously it's been paved before, and that'll be it. Like I said, I don't know if I did or did not in the recording of a basement, but I'm thinking I might do it just to kind of bring it all together, and it might just be a bonus to this map if you want the basement, or you could just take the map as is, like the cabin in the woods that a thief lives in, you know, that everything is trapped and everything is poisoned, but the thief is the only one that knows that. But anyway, I just want you guys to thank me. No, I want to thank you for stopping by, watching the video, you know, liking, commenting. It's kind of a project that I'm doing, these Final Fantasy ones, at least, again, my party in Final Fantasy. I believe the next one is a white mage. I think I'm gonna do a white mage church, like a big old church, kind of like those old like school buildings of American church, you know, school buildings, where it's just one room and, you know, everything happens like outside and whatnot. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.